Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. John Terry dreams of managing Chelsea. Josh Acheampong's Chelsea future has been decided. The right back that Chelsea are targeting now has a price tag. Chelsea have secured a new sleeve sponsor and they're closing in on that front of shirt sponsor. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 10k subscribers by the end of 2025. You can also use the hype button, which is a new YouTube feature which helps push this video out to a bigger audience. Kicking things off, we have a small update regarding Enzo Fernandez and his injury ahead of the Ajax game. He was spotted in the last training session before tonight's game, which was yesterday afternoon. In yesterday's video, we spoke about Enzo Maresca's pre-match press conference, and he said it was nothing to worry about of Enzo Fernandez, and they had one last session, and we'll kind of see how he gets on and if he trains. And he's been spotted in training, which is good news for us fans because it really means and reiterates what Enzo Maresca said, where it's nothing to be worried about. He just needed a bit more time, a bit more rest, and now he's back in training and could potentially face Ajax tonight. I personally feel like if the opportunity arises to rest him, even if it's for the first half or for a majority of the game, or even the whole game, we should be taking that opportunity personally, not rushing him back if he has got any sorts of like low level or minor injuries. Want to keep him fit for as long as possible. I personally rate Enzo Fernandez. I think he's a fantastic player. So this is really good news that he is back in training. It isn't something to be worried about, and he is ready. It looks like he can be ready for selection for the Ajax game tonight. John Terry has recently joined TikTok, which frankly is just quite amazing to see. And in a recent TikTok, he spoke about managing Chelsea. He said, "I'm not sure if it ever happens, to be honest. It's one of the last dreams I have at the football club. I've done everything at Chelsea. And for me now, the one thing that is missing is being the manager of the football club. That's why I went into coaching when I finished playing. I hope that there is some sort of world where we see John Terry in the dugouts at Stamford Bridge. I would absolutely love to see that. I am also fascinated and intrigued to see how well he would do. He would 100% have the fans on his side from day one, 100%. Very much like when Frank Lampard took over for the very first time. We were back in Super Frank as much as possible. And he had a very good season, finishing in the top four with transfer embargo, brought through a lot of the youth, the likes of Reece James getting first team football, Mason Mount, Tomori, loads of players that season that really kicked on and kind of boosted their career as well. I think it'd be very different with John Terry. Obviously different circumstances, etc. But I would absolutely love to see this. I don't know how well he would do, if I'm being honest. It might just be that nostalgia part of it. Now, in another TikTok that John Terry was putting out there, it was kind of linked to this. I think it was a clip of like an interview he may have done recently. He was basically speaking about how he feels very lucky and very grateful that he actually got to say goodbye to the fans. And he was talking about Lampard of like, he's been back as a manager. He's played against Chelsea when he went to Man City. He never really got that send-off to the fans, like officially. And I was thinking about it, and he kind of did at the end of that season when he was a manager. Obviously, you have that lap of honour at the end of the season and whatnot. He kind of did, but it weren't the same. It was not like a John Terry send-off, which still to this day I feel was very strange. We substituted him on the 26th minute. I know it's his number, but it was kind of like, okay, it seems very early, do you know what I mean, for his last game. But regardless of that, I kind of feel for him in that sense. But I would absolutely love to see John Terry as a manager at Stamford Bridge. I just think it would be absolute cinema. I don't know how well he would do. And I like the fact that he's just open and honest. He absolutely loves this club with every fibre of his being, and it's so nice to see. We know that he is captain, leader, legend. He always will be. He always will be. One of our own. Bleeds blue. And I just thought this was fun to react to and kind of get your thoughts and opinions. Do you feel like John Terry would be a good manager at Chelsea, or do you think it would go absolutely horrendously wrong? It'll be very interesting because his coaching career, very turbulent, had some good spells and some bad spells, very much like a lot of ex-players that go into management or coaching. You either hit the ground running or it takes a bit of time. The likes of Gerrard and Lampard, Rooney, etc. So I'd be very curious to know your thoughts. Would you like to see John Terry in the dugout at Stamford Bridge one day? Or do you think it's not meant to happen? Let me know your thoughts down below. Bobby Vincent has reported what Enzo Maresca said on Josh Acheampong's progress, and he says, "We are very happy with Josh. We have been happy with him since last season. Like every player, there are many things to improve. Josh is a hard worker, he's humble, and he wants to learn." Lloyd Canfield has reported that Josh Acheampong is expected to continue to grow at Chelsea in every aspect and is seen as a player who can develop into one of the best in the world of his position. Enzo Maresca then speaks about not signing a centre-back and having Acheampong growing into the role, and he said, "Josh has always been there, and we are very happy with Josh." I absolutely love this reaffirmation of like how good Acheampong is, how he's developing. The fans absolutely love him, and I love the fact that Enzo Maresca is promoting youth where he can, and I feel like he's doing it in the right way in terms of promoting promoting the right players, when he knows they're ready and they are coming onto the pitch and they are showcasing that they are more than ready, and we are, as fans, are basically foaming at the mouth and want more from these young individuals, right? Which is Josh Acheampong to play more regular minutes, Mark Guiu to play more regular minutes. Reggie Walsh is extremely young. We want him to have as many opportunities as possible where it makes sense, right? Because he is very, very young. You know, the likes of, you know, Tyreek George wanting more minutes last season, and I know that he was kind of, you know, on the verge of leaving Chelsea in the summer, but, you know, wanted to give him as many minutes as possible. I feel like Enzo Maresca is doing it perfectly. He absolutely loves the youth and the way that the players work, and I'm so here for it that Chelsea have kind of, I've said this in previous videos, when things are going right, the structure and the project makes total sense, because they can sit back and say, see, we didn't need to sign a centre-back because we've got Josh Acheampong, everything's okay. And I feel like, yes, when it goes well, it's amazing, but when it doesn't go right and things do go wrong, we then go, we need an experienced centre-back, and it's glaringly obvious we do. And it's not on Josh at all. It's a lot of pressure to put onto a 19-year-old to say, you need to be Virgil van Dijk. We know how incredibly talented he is and how he is going to go to the top. And I'm glad that the club and Maresca are backing him to be like, he can be one of the best in the world in his positions. He just needs consistent game time. And I genuinely feel that he is the silver lining of Levi Colwell's injury. We're going to get a budding and blossoming player in Josh Acheampong this season because of the amount of minutes he's going to get. He played so well last season in the Conference League, and I feel like Enzo Maresca was kind of showing him the ropes and letting him lay the foundations of what it's like to play at the highest levels. Now, you may think that, you know, Conference League it's like the bottom tier of Europe, whatever, Mickey Mouse Cup, blah, 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 blah. A lot of rival fans say that, and I get that. But for, at the time, an 18/19-year-old, massive monumental moments that he was taking with both hands and outplaying the clubs and the opposition he was facing. That is huge for a player like Josh. So the fact that he's got that under his belt and he has played a few Premier League games, and then this season he's come into that role and played when he's been given the opportunity and played to a very high standard, it's just so refreshing to see. I was literally having a conversation last night with a new friend, and he was talking about how he likes Maresca because he's promoting the youth, and this new ownership is actually focusing on the youth. And I agree, but it was a bit of a rebuttal in terms of, I think that they're heavily investing in the youth in terms of high ceiling, a lot of potential, a lot of money on these players, and we're kind of hoping and praying that they develop in the Premier League. But I think what they're doing very right, along with Enzo Maresca, is promoting our youth from within, because they are ready and they've got the data, they've got the stats, they're watching these players at different stages of their career and going, they're ready for the first team. And I think that's something for myself, who's a bit of an older fan, who's, you know, still supported Chelsea my entire life. It was an argument we had back in the day of we never promoted the youth. And, you know, again, going into this conversation I basically said, well, when we had youth players, you know, for example, when you had the likes of Mo Salah that we signed, or Kevin De Bruyne, or Franco De Santo, or, you know, Josh McEachran, you look at the players they're trying to displace in that starting 11, Ballack's, Essie's, Hazards and Drogba's, and all of these different types of players that they're just not going to displace. They're just not, are they? When you be realistic about it. So there's no wonder that we sold them on. They've gone on and have incredible careers, fair enough. But in this sort of project, it's almost like youth first, and we build around that. Whether we've bought the youth or we're promoting from within, it's youth for the future. But they've also got, you know, the stat-driven, very high ceilings and a lot of potential. But then you've got players like Josh who have come through the academy, and they're levels above anything that we've bought, in my opinion, in terms of natural ability. So I'm just really happy that Chelsea are backing it, Maresca's backing it, they have full faith in him. And like I said, when things go well, it looks like the best decision ever. I'm just hoping that Josh can take this in his stride. He can get a lot more minutes. He can continue to develop and become a first teamer in terms of that centre-back role, because if he's not getting injured, he's reliable and he's consistently performing at such a young age. I feel like your starting position should be based on merit of performances. And if that's the case, he should be starting, in my opinion, against Ajax tonight, because he played so well in the previous game and he played so well against Liverpool. Just continue this run of form with him and getting minutes. And him playing Champions League football is another big opportunity for him to kind of step up. So they're my thoughts and opinions. I'm super happy about this. I'd love to know your thoughts down below regarding Josh Acheampong. Do you feel like he can go on to be one of the best in his position in the world? Do you feel like that's just something to kind of boost his confidence? How well do you think he is doing? Do you feel like Chelsea made the right decision by not buying a centre-back in the summer? Or are you still very reserved and thinking that we should have got some experience in, even if it was on loan, just in case, and still circulated and rotated the players to give Acheampong as many minutes? Court Offside have reported that Chelsea are in a strong position to sign Strasbourg right-back Doué ahead ahead of the Premier League rivals Aston Villa, Brentford and Brighton. His price tag of €30 million has already scared off some suitors. Chelsea feel they need more cover at right back with Reece James's injury record and progression into midfield positions. Now I just wanted to touch base on this. We spoke about this a few days ago that Chelsea are eyeing up Doué's brother, Doué. I think that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if it is wrong. But it's very interesting because I sung his high praise. I think he's a fantastic player. He's starting the season very well as well. And I've had some people in the comments saying it's the wish Doué. Which I think is a bit harsh. If you actually watch him and see what he can do, he's a fantastic defender. And I personally feel like it's set up to be a Malo Gusto replacement. I had a lot of you get in touch as well, basically saying I'm getting on Malo Gusto's back. I just want to reiterate, I'm not. I'm just being realistic in terms of his recent performances and his performances for a long time. I am a fan of Gusto. I just feel like he's been subpar for a little while. Whether that is a Maresca doing, whether that is Gusto not adapting, whether it is a mixture of the two, is up for debate, and I'm more than happy to have that debate. But I'm not getting on his back. I've just seen patterns of things, and this seems like it's a setup to replace Gusto at the end of the season if things don't work out. I don't really buy into the whole we need more cover at right back because of Reece James's injury record. Now, yes, it's something that cannot be ignored because he has a long strain of history in terms of injuries. But like I said in yesterday's video, Reece James has nearly been fit for a whole calendar year. So things are looking to be on the up. He might have the little things here and there, like over the international break, where he can recover and come back, and it's mainly precautionary. But Reece James even spoke out about having someone specifically to help him stay on the pitch as long as possible. And yes, he's had to adapt his game. Maresca likes to experiment with his position. He's played right centre back. He's played right back. He's played as that 6. And yeah, it's a myriad of things. He's not that right back that bombs up and down all game, every game anymore, unfortunately, because of the injuries. But to use that as leverage to bring in another right back, I don't quite buy it. It has an element of truth, of course it does, but as of right now and currently, I don't know, maybe it is precautionary. I could be reading into this completely wrong, but I feel like this is set up as a potential replacement for Malo Gusto if things don't work out at the end of the season. Because as of right now, you've got Reece James, you've got Gusto, and you've got Acheampong who can play centre-back and right-back. So bringing in another right-back makes no sense because, yes, Reece James may play in midfield occasionally, he may be injured occasionally, but you'd still have Gusto and Acheampong. So, unless Acheampong's long-term future at Chelsea is to be a centre-back more than a right-back, but we know he can play both positions very comfortably. So, I don't know. That's where I kind of go, is it more cover? Do we need more cover when you've got 3 right-backs? So, if one goes down, you still have 2 available? Or is it a potential replacement for one of our current right-backs, which isn't going to be Reece James, and we've just gone over it, it's not going to be Josh Acheampong, which leaves Malo Gusto in that position of potentially being moved on and having someone come in like Doué, who is a fantastic player. Like I said, if you haven't watched him, go and check him out. He is fantastic. My only gripe with him is on occasions he can hold onto the ball too long, but that's minor. In my opinion, like you can coach that out of him, especially being in an Maresca system. It'd be very exciting to see how he does. And for €30 million, I don't think is an outrageous amount of money, but it's obviously enough to scare off other suitors that want to come in for him. And the fact that Villa, Brentford and Brighton, so 3 more Premier League clubs, are also chasing him and trying to get his signature means that he's obviously got something about him. Not to say that that's always something to go off, but they're already looking in. Chelsea obviously have the advantage because it's our sister club. So whether we pay the €30 million or not is a different story, or the way it works behind the scenes, I don't really know. I'm not an expert in that sort of field. But I personally feel like it would be a fantastic signing, at least in my opinion. So I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions. Have you seen Doué play? Is he relatively new on your radar? Do you feel like he could be the Malo Gusto replacement? Or do you buy into what Chelsea is saying here, saying they just need more cover at right back because of Reece James's injuries and because he's been played in midfield a lot more than he used to be? Very curious to know your thoughts. The Athletic have reported that Chelsea have agreed a new shirt sleeve sponsorship deal with FPT Corporation for the rest of the 25-26 season and are in closing stages of finding a new front of shirt sponsor. They continue to report that FTP, which is based in Vietnam, is one of the Asia Pacific's most successful technology solution providers. And then Chelsea have officially announced, we are proud to announce that FTP is our new principal partner and official sleeve partner for the 25-26 season. And the reports continue from The Athletic to say Chelsea are in the closing stages of finding a new front of shirt sponsor. Sources say that Chelsea's thorough process to find a front shirt sponsorship is nearing a conclusion. I'm going to be honest, that sounds like the same thing that they've just restructured in 2 different sentences. But regardless, it looks like Chelsea are closing in on that front shirt sponsorship. It will be very interesting to see how that plays out. because we covered this and reacted to it a few days ago, that it's looking likely it could be Red Bull or Oracle Racing or whatever it is, the conglomerate that it is, rather than Red Bull Sport specifically, but under that umbrella. They're leaning towards that. I've given my piece on that. I think it'd be a very, very good sponsorship. They obviously sponsor their own clubs. You've got like Salzburg and also sponsor Leeds, etc. So it's not like a relatively new sponsorship, but I don't know, it makes a lot of sense to me, whether it is just the Oracle, whether it is the Red Bull logo, whether it's a mixture of the two, whether it's full colour, whether it's a silver outlining, who knows? Whether it's even them as finalised will be very interesting, and the final figures will be very interesting, considering Chelsea have been holding this off and having this thorough process and having advertisers walk out the room because we're asking for so much money. Now, when it comes to FTP, I didn't really know too much about them, so I went through their website just to kind of see what they do, and this is what I found. When you go on the website, there is a certain section just for Chelsea FC and the sponsorship, and obviously they're saying they're sponsoring the World Champions, which makes perfect sense from a marketing standpoint, but this is what they say specifically about Chelsea. AI transformation for Chelsea FC. AI revolutionises sports by turning data into action to boost performance with precision and agility. Discover how FTP's partnership brings AI-powered innovation to modernise Chelsea FC's tech, enable data-driven operation, and create immersive experience for fans worldwide. That's very open, if I'm being honest. I don't really know what they do. When you hit Discover More, it shows you a YouTube video where it's kind of like all the promo around Stamford Bridge, the players. There's some interviews from like head of partnerships, etc. And then obviously people from FPT as well. And it's basically like AI software that they're using. The only thing I've not seen about this, because it's just been announced this morning, is the sort of money that's tied to this deal. But this is a very good move in the right direction to secure at least one of the two major sponsors that we've been missing. Like sleeve sponsors, we've kind of dibbled in and out over this new ownership. We've had quite a few kind of flitting. I think we had Fever last season, things like that. So it's still revenue that's being generated. It's not the big one of the front of shirt sponsor, but it looks like this new guy they hired, which we reacted to I think a couple of weeks ago, who was to come in and basically sort this out, is already getting things over the line. It was like, cool, sleeve sponsor, we're going to hunt down and get that front of shirt sponsor. Again, with all the reports coming out that we're leaning into the Red Bull Oracle, as those, they look like they're leading the race, or one of the airlines that haven't been disclosed. Probably Qatar Airways, if we're being honest. But this is interesting. It's, we're partnering with an AI company. It'll be interesting to see what they do for Chelsea. It says about the data-driven and, modernising our tech and stuff. So very interesting. The last bit as well is immersive experience for fans worldwide. So I'm very curious to know what they're going to try and do during their sponsorship. It is only till the end of the season, so it's not a massive amount of time. Whether it's renewed, whether it's just a one-off like the Damac one was a temporary one, who knows? But this is a step in the right direction in terms of securing sponsorship money and advertising revenue to come in to Chelsea Football Club. So it's not like we're completely without money. But obviously, the big one that everyone's waiting for is the front of shirt sponsor. So I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below. How much money do you reckon has been paid to Chelsea from FPT for the remainder of the season for the sleeve sponsor? I'm just very curious to know what people's guesstimations would be. If I had to guess, I would probably say it's, I don't know, around $1 million a month. We'll go with that. What's remaining in the season? So I'd say like 8 million, 9 million potentially. It's a sleeve sponsor, so I don't really think they can fetch nowhere near as much money as the front of shirt, of course. But I'd be very curious to know your thoughts, your guesstimations down below. Is this a bonus? Is this just something to kind of tie us over until we get that front of shirt sponsor? And how close do you think realistically we are to that front of shirt sponsor? And that's the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.